Rain hammered the city and ran in silver beads off the precinct's stone face as Detective Aaron Bishop sprinted down the dim corridor, the cold metal of the stairwell rail biting his palm. Fluorescent tubes hummed overhead, the smell of old coffee and damp coats clung to the air. He cut through the bullpen, past stacks of yellowed files and a half-eaten donut, past a rookie nodding off at her desk. He paused long enough to tug a blanket over her shoulders, then kept moving, heart thudding a steady count against the tiled floor's echo. The stakes were loud in his chest. Sign a routine report and bury a secret, or refuse and invite a storm that could end careers and lives. The phone call had yanked him out of the monotony a minute earlier, a number he did not recognize, a voice that did not belong. "Detective Bishop, do not sign the report," the caller said. "Who is this?" Aaron said. "The truth lies in the silenced pages," the caller said. The line went dead. Aaron stared at the handset, the dials on the wall clock trying to outrun themselves. All he could hear was the echo of a voice from the previous afternoon, sharp and brave enough to slice. The memory hit like a door slam. "Do not sign the report," Samantha Jordan had said. She had stood in the glass-walled conference room, 25 and unflinching, an intern with a file pressed to her chest like armor. She had clicked on the projector and flooded the room with a hard light. Captain Richard Monroe had watched from the far end of the table, a 60-year-old silhouette with a thick jaw and eyes that had seen too much. LeGill advisor Evelyn Harper had set a legal pad down with careful hands, her voice quiet, her expression unreadable. "There are inconsistencies," Samantha had said. "Show me," Aaron had said. Body cam time stamps that jump. Chain of custody logs with 2 signatures from the same hand, a property room ledger that says a phone was checked in at 8:22 and a copy of its contents printed at 8:10. "The report you are about to sign says the phone was blank when it arrived," Samantha had said. "Mistakes happen," Monroe had said. "Yes, and sometimes they are arranged," Samantha had said. "That is a heavy implication," Evelyn had said. "I have matching call detail records showing the phone made a call while in police custody. If the report says the phone was blank, then somebody took what matters and pretended nothing was there," Samantha had said. Aaron had watched the blue glow scrape across the documents, had felt the cold edge of something older than the case slip under his skin. He had earned his gray hair and his limp, the one that flared when the rain set in. He had also earned a reputation for picking at the seams until a secret fell out. "What is at stake here?" Aaron had said. "A death you are about to call accidental," Samantha had said. "Whose?" Aaron had said. "An informant tied to 2 unsolved homicides. If we bury this now, we turn his death into a smokescreen for people who built their careers on cleaning up messes by throwing them into the river," Samantha had said. "That is enough," Monroe had said. "It is not nearly enough," Samantha had said. The room had gone still. In the quiet, Aaron had heard the soft clink of a badge against a belt and the scratch of a pen that had not yet touched paper. When the truth hides in the seams of obedience, a single voice can silence an entire room. He had looked down at the signature line and felt a tremor of defiance. "We will review," Evelyn had said. "We will not stall the machine on hearsay," Monroe had said. "This is not hearsay," Samantha had said. Now, with rain slicking the windows and the precinct's radiator clanking like a failing heart, Aaron pushed into the records alcove, paper stacked like a hoarder's confession. The report sat open on a table under a fluorescent light. He touched the page and felt the cold in the paper like a warning. He was the machine's expert part, polished by years of doing things by the book. The intern had told the expert not to sign, and the echo of that temerity jolted him awake. He slid the report into an envelope and headed for the elevator. Samantha appeared at the end of the hall like a shadow that refused to back away, her hair damp from the weather, her eyes steady. "You got the call," Samantha said. "I did," Aaron said. "They do not call when they are wrong," Samantha said. "They call when they are scared," Aaron said. "Do you believe me now?" Samantha said. "Belief does not matter, only proof," Aaron said. "Then let us get it," Samantha said. He nodded and led the way to a small office that used to belong to a detective who had retired to Florida and never called back. The door handle was cold as a confession. He flicked on the light and the fluorescent buzz threw their shadows long across the filing cabinets. She began laying out printouts. He recognized names like ghosts from 20 years of doing this work. He found the line where a life turned into a statistic. "Who else saw this?" Aaron said. "I brought it to you first," Samantha said. "Why?" Aaron said. "Because your record says you chase the truth even when it runs you through glass," Samantha said. "You read my file," Aaron said. "I read what your cases say about you," Samantha said. He felt the old anger stir, the one that lived with the old guilt. A paramedic had once told him his heart sounded tired. He pushed the thought away. The phone on the desk buzzed. Unknown number. He put it on speaker. "Detective Bishop," Aaron said. "The truth lies in the silenced pages," the caller said. "Who are you?" Samantha said. "The pages everyone pretends are blank," the caller said. The click was hard as a shot. Samantha and Aaron stared at the phone. Outside the office, a patrolman laughed at a joke, and a coffee machine coughed up mud. "It was inside the building," Samantha said. "Maybe," Aaron said. He looked down at the envelope and at the line where his pen would have gone. He felt the weight of the call, the truth that would bury itself if he closed his eyes. He thought of the rookie under the blanket and the way she had smiled in her sleep. He thought of all the rooms where rules were more important than lives. "We are not signing anything," Aaron said. "Then we are already late," Samantha said. He picked up the envelope. The fluorescent light burned against the old paper. The call's last words rang like a riddle against the glass. The truth lay in the silenced pages. He wondered who had silenced them and why their hands felt so familiar. Aaron kept the investigation quiet. The city woke up cranky and wet, sirens pealing past sidewalks shiny with rain. He chose an unused evidence closet near the loading bay, a cement cube that smelled like oil and cardboard. Samantha sat up on a metal table, the surface dented from years of hard objects and harder stories. "We start with the report and work backward," Aaron said. "We start with the dead man," Samantha said. "Agreed," Aaron said. The dead man's name was Lewis Grant, a part-time mechanic turned confidential informant who had a habit of witnessing terrible things. He was found in an alley behind a laundromat, a bottle beside him, and a story in the report that did not change with retelling. The report called it exposure and negligence. The autopsy called it inconclusive. What Samantha found called it a lie. "He called the tip line 3 days before he died," Samantha said. "And," Aaron said, "his contact was cut off the next day with a note that says he is unreliable," Samantha said. "By whom?" Aaron said. "An authorization code belonging to a supervisor in the organized crimes unit," Samantha said. "That is a closed unit," Aaron said. "They closed it to prevent drafts," Samantha said. He almost smiled. It vanished when she slid a photograph in front of him. It was grainy, the kind that begged for an excuse. A respected officer, Detective Paul Riker, stood in a motel doorway. His badge was off, his wedding ring still on. He shared the frame with a man Aaron recognized from a wall of faces labeled as persons of interest. The man held an envelope the size of easy money. "Riker is Monroe's guy," Aaron said. "Riker was the first to call the death accidental," Samantha said. "Someone will say this photo is fake," Aaron said. "Then we will show where it came from," Samantha said. A metal door at the end of the hall creaked. Someone passed by. Aaron felt the surveillance like a draft under the door. He had spent years knowing when a room was listening. He checked his watch and typed a message to a number that only appeared when he needed to fish in deep water. 10 minutes later, a man they both knew only as Gabe slipped in like he had always lived in darkness. He was the kind of informant who never used his real name and had a habit of appearing with the right piece of wrong at the right time. "You called," Gabe said. "What is this report covering?" Aaron said. "The kind of cleaning job that leaves blood where nobody looks," Gabe said. "Names," Samantha said. "Names are expensive," Gabe said. "We are not bargaining," Aaron said. "Then duck," Gabe said. They froze. The overhead light flickered and steadied. No one kicked the door. Gabe smiled like a man who liked to hear people's hearts speed up. "You are watched," Gabe said. "By whom?" Samantha said. "By people who like to use phrases like chain of command and keep your head down," Gabe said. Why risk telling us? Aaron said. Because you once told a kid to put his gun down instead of putting him down, Gabe said. You saw that, Aaron said. I hear things, Gabe said. He slipped a folded piece of paper across the table and took a step back like the air between them was a wire. Read it when you need it, Gabe said. What are we stepping into? Samantha said. A labyrinth built by men who think daylight is only for show, Gabe said. He was gone before the door finished closing. Aaron unfolded the paper. On it, in block letters, someone had written a warning. Trust no one in the light of authority, Aaron read. Trust you, Samantha said. Trust proof, Aaron said. They stuck to method. He traced the custodial path of the phone from the alley to the property room to the logged but missing printout. She linked Lewis Grant's tips to a run of cases that never made it to court. They followed the photograph's metadata to a city camera that had been switched off only on a handful of days, each one coinciding with a death put down to bad luck. Who can switch city cameras off? Samantha said. That list will not make us new friends, Aaron said. Evelyn Harper found them in the closet with a frown that looked like professional concern and sounded like warning. This is not a sanctioned review, Evelyn said. Neither is burying a man, Aaron said. You are risking more than your badge, Evelyn said. I know the ledger we signed onto, Aaron said. You never change institutions from the outside, Evelyn said. You do not change them by pretending to be blind on the inside, Samantha said. Evelyn looked at Samantha with something that might have been remorse, and then softened it with a lawyer's caution. Be careful who you accuse, Evelyn said. We are not at the accusation stage, Aaron said. You are closer than you think, Evelyn said. She left them with the scent of expensive soap and a door that did not close all the way. Aaron knew a test when he saw one. He watched the gap. He felt the room looking back. They mapped connections until the map looked like a nervous system. Patterns surfaced, a sealed case from 19 years ago, connected to a unit that did not exist anymore and to a name that did. Director Samuel Hayes, the man with the press-ready smile and the firm handshake, the man whose approval was a currency in the city. He's on everything big, Samantha said. That is what big looks like, Aaron said. Or what it hides behind, Samantha said. Aaron nodded. He remembered a commendation letter signed by Hayes for a case he would rather forget. He set the memory on the shelf and locked the door on it. We need a second source, Aaron said. I have one, Samantha said. Who? Aaron said. A records clerk who never forgets a file, Samantha said. Set it up, Aaron said. Night fell in the closet, a deeper darkness even with the fluorescent hum. When the text came, they headed for a diner near the river. The clerk chose a back booth and kept glancing toward a corner like someone had trained him to fear shadows. Tell us what you know, Aaron said. Files moved that should not move, an old case pulled and returned with new staples. A name that showed up on a sealed envelope when it should not have, the clerk said. Whose name? Samantha said. Hayes, the clerk said. The bell over the diner door sighed with someone leaving. The clerk's eyes cut to the window. You are not the only ones mapping this, the clerk said. They left him with a number and a warning. Outside, the pavement shone. The air tasted like metal. A car idled across the street with its lights off. We are not alone, Samantha said. We were never alone, Aaron said. He slipped Gabe's folded warning into his jacket. Trust no one in the light of authority. The words stuck to his conscience like burrs. We go deeper, Aaron said. We go careful, Samantha said. They turned toward the precinct with the feeling of a net tightening and a voice in their heads that sounded like an anonymous caller telling them where the truth hides. By morning, the precinct felt like a stranger's house. Familiar faces wore stony patience. Captain Monroe summoned Aaron to his office, a space decorated with commendations and framed photographs of men shaking hands with other men. You are making ripples, Monroe said. We are searching for a drowned man, Aaron said. You will pull the wrong bodies to the surface, Monroe said. Maybe those are the ones that need air, Aaron said. Monroe watched him with the kind of steadiness that comes from pitting duty against survival for decades. There are forces at work here you cannot muscle through, Monroe said. I am not muscling, Aaron said. You never know when you are, Monroe said. Samantha waited by the vending machines, phone in hand. She had set up a meet with a quiet voice from the archives, a man with the posture of someone used to bending. He suggested a warehouse by the river, a neutral place that smelled like rope and old water. He will bring copies of sealed documents, Samantha said. How sealed? Aaron said. As sealed as you can seal a thing that people still touch, Samantha said. They drove in a city car whose heater coughed like a smoker. The warehouse door groaned open. The informant stood near a stack of pallets, hands trembling like his bones remembered winter. You are the detective, the informant said. Aaron Bishop, Aaron said. You are the intern, the informant said. Samantha Jordan, Samantha said. He handed them a manila folder wrapped in caution. I do not want to die for this, the informant said. No one does, Aaron said. You bring me trouble if you linger, the informant said. We will be quick, Samantha said. Aaron flipped the folder open. Inside were photocopies of birth records, adoption papers, a black and white photograph yellowed at the edges, showing a younger Samuel Hayes with an arm around a woman whose eyes mirrored Samantha's. A bracelet on the woman's wrist matched the thin chain around Samantha's neck. What is this? Aaron said. You do not know, the informant said. Know what? Samantha said. That you belong to the man who built the walls you are knocking on, the informant said. Say it, Aaron said. You are the daughter of Samuel Hayes, the informant said. Silence landed heavy enough to bend the pallets. Samantha's fingers went to the chain at her neck. The photograph was an old ache made visible. It came with a certificate carrying her birth name before the Jordan adoption. The ink scuffed, but clear. It came with a notarized note of relinquishment that looked like a wound. You are lying, Samantha said. Paper does not lie the way people do, the informant said. Who sealed this? Aaron said. Hayes's office initiated the seal after an internal event labeled private, the informant said. Why bring this to us? Samantha said. Because the dead man called an old line that rings near your name before he died, the informant said. Samantha folded in on herself and then straightened like steel finding its spine. He knew about me, Samantha said. He knew who paid to keep certain stories quiet, the informant said. What is the price? Aaron said. I want a way out of this city, the informant said. We are not the travel bureau, Aaron said. You are the only ones who might live long enough to make a phone call that matters, the informant said. He stepped back and kept stepping until the light swallowed him. The warehouse door moaned. Outside, the wind cut through coats and certainty. Samantha walked to the edge of the pier and looked at the water. Aaron stood beside her and kept his hands in sight. Did you know? Samantha said. I did not, Aaron said. Did you suspect? Samantha said. No, Aaron said. Do you think I can do this? Samantha said. I think you already did, Aaron said. She nodded once and looked back at the warehouse. Shadows shifted inside. Someone had been watching from the mezzanine, a shape that did not commit to being seen. We're not alone, Samantha said. Keep your head straight, Aaron said. They crossed the lot with the sense of being measured. A car door shut somewhere with a soft sound that said precision. A camera shutter sighed. Aaron turned fast enough to catch the outline of a man behind a stack of drums, the tilt of a chin that suggested a familiarity he did not like. Who is there? Aaron said. The figure did not answer. Tires squealed. A sedan pulled out from the alley and merged into the river of traffic with a confidence that comes from knowing where the lights will be green. The water lapped at the pilings. The photograph in Samantha's hand fluttered in the wind, like it wanted to leave too. If I am his daughter, then my whole reason for being here is a weapon for someone, Samantha said. Not if you aim at yourself, Aaron said. She stared at the bracelet in the photo and then at her own. He took my name, Samantha said. Then we take his mask, Aaron said. They drove back in a silence cut by dispatch chatter and the city's exhausted sigh. In the bullpen, Monroe waited with unreadable calm. Evelyn stood behind him, holding a folder she did not open. You look like you found ghosts, Monroe said. We found the truth trying to forget itself, Aaron said. Be careful who hears you say that, Evelyn said. We have a right to ask questions, Samantha said. You have a right to breathe. For now, Monroe said. Aaron's phone buzzed. An anonymous text sent a location he recognized as a municipal storage facility used to house forgotten archives and evidence no one wanted to deal with. The message said one more thing. Come tonight or the story goes quiet, the text said. He looked at Samantha. She nodded like someone who had run out of patience and found courage in the leftovers. The figure from the warehouse lived behind his eyes, a shadow with intent. The line between friend and enemy blurred like rain on glass. We go, Aaron said. We go, Samantha said. The night opened like a mouth about to swallow them whole. The storage facility sat on the edge of the industrial district, a warehouse of corrugated walls and sodium lights that painted the world a sickly orange. Aaron killed the headlights a block away and listened. The city hummed under a curtain of wind. He felt watched, and he was tired of being polite about it. We keep the car ready to move, Aaron said. We go in and out, Samantha said. The door code worked on the second try. The inside smelled like dust and old secrets. Rows of shelves held boxes stacked from floor to ceiling, each one labeled with a case number like a headstone. Which aisle? Samantha said. The one someone will try to lock us in, Aaron said. He was not wrong. As they moved toward a metal cage that housed sealed archives, another set of footsteps turned down their aisle. Two men in city maintenance jackets without the right insignia paced toward them. You are not supposed to be here, the first man said. Neither are you, Aaron said. We were told to show you out, the second man said. By whom? Samantha said. Authority, the first man said. That is not a name, Aaron said. The men stepped closer. Aaron recognized the set of their shoulders, the way their hands hovered near their belts. He shifted his stance and put Samantha slightly behind him. You really want to do this here, Aaron said. The camera is off, the first man said. They always are, Samantha said. The scuffle was fast and loud enough to wake the dust. Aaron moved like the boxer he had been before the job, hips and shoulders working in stubborn harmony. He put one man down and disarmed the second, the metal of the wrench cold against his palm. Samantha kicked a knee and grabbed a keycard from a pocket. Run, Aaron said. They sprinted to the cage, slid the card, and pulled the door open with effort that made their hands numb. Inside, a plastic bin waited on a shelf that matched the code from the anonymous text. Aaron lifted the lid. Inside were paper files and a flash drive taped to the underside like a secret. Grab it, Aaron said. A clanging alarm started somewhere in the building. The men they had disarmed were gone. The aisle empty. Aaron shoved the files into his coat and pocketed the drive. They ran. The exit door boomed open. Wind knifed through. They dove into the car and pulled out, tires chirping on the wet pavement. We are not going back to the precinct, Samantha said. We need a place with a door that locks from the inside and a table that holds truth, Aaron said. He chose the basement of a church where he used to volunteer nights, a gritty community room with folding chairs and a coffee urn that made everyone patient. The pastor had once told him, some rooms are built to host confessions. It felt like one. Open it, Aaron said. Samantha laid the papers out like she was dealing a hand she was not sure she could win. The files connected Lewis Grant to a list of payouts signed by a senior staffer in the director's office. They connected those payouts to closed cases where evidence had taken sudden vacations. Here, Samantha said. She tapped a notation that tied an older cold case to the same fund. The hunch line he had refused to indulge years ago bloomed into proof he could hold. Monroe knew, Samantha said. He knew something, Aaron said. Evelyn's signature is on a memo that limits discovery, Samantha said. She might not have known the scope, Aaron said. She drew the line, Samantha said. Aaron's phone buzzed. A message arrived from an encrypted app he used when other roads felt rigged. Come back to the precinct now, the message said. He glanced at Samantha. Her jaw tightened. We walk into a trap or we let them burn this without us, Samantha said. We take the game to a place they cannot stage manage, Aaron said. Where? Samantha said. The precinct, in a room with cameras they cannot switch off without pulling the building's power, Aaron said. They will pull the power, Samantha said. Then they will show the world what they do to keep the lights off, Aaron said. They drove back with sirens like arguments on the air. The precinct stood under a new storm, lightning turning stone to bone. Inside, chaos rolled like a tide. Alerts flashed on screens. Radios popped. Someone had tripped the fire system in the records room. Smoke drifted like a staged ghost. "They are scrubbing," Samantha said. "Not if we make it matter too fast," Aaron said. He pulled her into interview 2, a box with thick glass and a mounted camera that fed to a server off-site. He set the files on the table and looked into the lens. "Record," Aaron said. "You just declared war," Samantha said. "War declared itself," Aaron said. The door banged open. Captain Monroe stepped in, followed by Evelyn. Monroe's face was a mix of fury and something like grief. Evelyn held her folder like a shield. "Turn that off," Monroe said. "It is not going off," Aaron said. "You have no idea what you are stirring," Monroe said. "We have proof you've been keeping a lid on a rotten pot," Samantha said. "Do not put words in my mouth," Monroe said. "They taste like ash either way," Samantha said. Evelyn looked at the lens, and then at the stack of paper, and then at Aaron. "You better be right," Evelyn said. "We are," Aaron said. Monroe lifted his hands to show they were empty. Aaron watched the way his eyes moved. He had learned to see the difference between a man protecting a principle and a man protecting a secret. "You cannot trust what you think you know," Monroe said. "Then help me correct it," Aaron said. A voice cut through the hallway, metallic and cruel, hijacking the building's public address system. "Choose loyalty or lose everything," the voice said. The corridor darkened as the power flickered. The camera light held steady with a stubborn glow. "They are in the building," Samantha said. "They have always been in the building," Aaron said. Shouts rose in the bullpen. A crash answered. The fire door slammed on the other side of the glass. The siege arrived as smoke and threat. Aaron had to make a choice. Help push back the tide and buy time for the people around him, or plant his feet on the floor and slide the evidence forward in a way that would burn the rot down faster than it could hide. He looked at Samantha. She stared back like the only anchor in a storm. The voice on the intercom repeated the ultimatum: loyalty or everything. Aaron reached for the first page, knowing that whichever road he took, something good was going to break. He chose the truth. It cost him in the instant he committed. "Captain, close the door and sit down," Aaron said. "Do not give me orders," Monroe said. "Then listen to this," Aaron said. He set the flash drive on the table and slid it across. Samantha connected it to the room's terminal while the camera watched. The screen filled with audio files labeled by dates that crossed decades. A folder marked Internal Review contained a recording stamped with the name of a former deputy who had died 5 years earlier. Samantha clicked play. A voice filled the room like the past refusing to stay buried. "You want a clean department," the deputy said. "I want a quiet one," another voice said. Aaron recognized the second voice. Time had sanded the edges, but power had a timbre all its own. "Hayes," Aaron said. "Keep it narrow," Hayes said in the recording. "We have an informant who ties your fundraiser to a man who launders money through his club," the deputy said. "Then we have a man who slips on the ice before the case matures," Hayes said. Silence collected in the corners of the interview room. The building groaned. Sirens stitched the quiet. "That is a death sentence on tape," Samantha said. "It is a plan voiced as policy," Aaron said. Monroe's jaw worked. Evelyn took her glasses off and set them on the table. "We have to take this to the state," Evelyn said. "We're taking it to everyone right now," Aaron said. He dialed the city inspector general's emergency line and set his phone on speaker. He identified himself. He stated that he had material evidence of an institutional conspiracy affecting open and closed cases. He gave the case numbers. He provided the link to the interview room's live feed. "If you cut this feed, you cut it for the city," Aaron said. "We are watching," the IG's operator said. The intercom voice tried to rise again and found itself competing with the storm and with the inertia of 1,000 eyes. The bullpens filled with officers drawn by rumor and fear. Some leaned in and heard their world shift. Some turned away in denial that looked like exhaustion. "You wanted a plan," Samantha said. "This is it," Aaron said. Evelyn stood and squared herself to the door. I am going to get the chief judge on the line for an emergency warrant to seize the director's office, Evelyn said. You do that and you will not work in this town again, Monroe said. Then I will work somewhere I can sleep, Evelyn said. Monroe looked at Aaron and found 25 years of habit glaring back. You should have brought this to me, Monroe said. I did, Aaron said. Monroe shook his head, a small move with a lifetime behind it. He stepped to the glass and stared at the bullpen like a man choosing which house to leave burning. What do you need from me? Monroe said. A doorway into Hayes's office and a witness who will not lie after he has to testify, Aaron said. You have me, Monroe said. They moved as a unit. The building's power fought to stay on. The elevator stuttered. They took the stairs, feet drumming a tempo that turned the whole place into a drum. Samantha kept the flash drive and a copy of the files close to her chest like a second heartbeat. Hayes's office was a museum of control, tidy surfaces, photographs of civic events, books that made the right impression. He stood by the window like a man waiting for weather. Detective Bishop, Hayes said. Director Hayes, Aaron said. This better be about the fire alarm, Hayes said. It is about a fire you started decades ago, Aaron said. Choose your words, Hayes said. I chose proof, Aaron said. Samantha set the flash drive down on the desk. She met Hayes's eyes like a question she already knew answered. Do you know me? Samantha said. Hayes did not flinch. He watched her with the calculation of a chess player who counted pieces instead of faces. You are the intern, Hayes said. I am your daughter, Samantha said. The pause spread like an oil slick. Hayes looked away first. His mouth tightened. I told them to scrub that, Hayes said. Not fast enough, Samantha said. You kept a folder labeled Internal Review, Aaron said. Transparency matters when you need to prove a point, Hayes said. You meant control, Aaron said. The door opened behind them. Monroe and Evelyn stepped in. Evelyn carried a printed emergency writ signed by a judge who had to be woken from a deep sleep and a deeper cynicism. Your office is now a crime scene, Evelyn said. You have no authority, Hayes said. I do now, Evelyn said. Uniformed officers filled the doorway. Their faces were grim in a way that said they were holding a present that stung their hands. Hayes moved toward his desk. Aaron stepped in his way and laid the photographs and the copy of the financial ledger down in front of him. You made calls that cost lives, Aaron said. I made decisions that saved this department, Hayes said. From accountability, Samantha said. From chaos, Hayes said. Chaos is what you built when you decided who got to be silent, Aaron said. Hayes watched him with eyes that believed in the inevitability of power. You do not have the stomach to see this through, Hayes said. I have less to lose than you do, Aaron said. Samantha pulled up the recording. Hayes's voice filled his office. His face eroded as he listened to his past speak in the present. Officers on the threshold heard what they needed to hear. You will not get a jury to understand this, Hayes said. We will not need to convince a jury to understand what anyone with a radio heard tonight, Monroe said. Hayes looked at Monroe like a man assessing a betrayal. Richard, Hayes said, we built a department to serve a city. Somewhere along the way, you built a city to serve yourself, Monroe said. Hayes sighed. It sounded like steam escaping from a cracked pipe. You think this ends with me, Hayes said. It starts with you, Aaron said. Evelyn read the writ and signaled the officers forward. Hayes put his hands behind his back with a theatrical patience. You will regret this, Hayes said. I will sleep, Evelyn said. They escorted Hayes out past the bullpen, past the photographs on the walls, past the rookie who had been sleeping under a blanket and now stood with her mouth open. He went into an elevator that did not stall and disappeared from view like a chapter ending, not a book. In the stunned quiet, the building exhaled. The fire alarms were silenced. The smoke thinned. Someone clapped once, then stopped, unsure if celebration was allowed in a place that had just confessed to itself. You just ended your career, Monroe said. I ended a part of it that was already dying, Aaron said. He felt the weight in his pocket, the badge that might soon be turned in, and the lighter feeling inside his chest where the truth had been pressing for room. Samantha stood beside him with the photograph of a woman who had not lived to see her daughter stand against a man with his name. "What now?" Samantha said. "We mop up," Aaron said. "And then," Samantha said. "We build guardrails," Aaron said. News broke fast. The Inspector General's office seized servers. The state's attorney called before dawn. The press gathered outside on the wet sidewalk and called it a reckoning, and then called it a scandal. The department shuttered certain units and sent out emails that used the word reform more than once. Internal Affairs, emboldened by the daylight strangling the old shadows, opened files like windows. In the cleanup, Aaron boxed his metals and carried his plant to his car. Samantha watched him with the stubborn gaze of someone who had decided not to flinch anymore. "You did not have to do it this way," Samantha said. "We did," Aaron said. "They will come for us," Samantha said. "They always do," Aaron said. He drove her to Hayes's office one last time because legal crews were still combing it. The place smelled different now. Less like control, more like paper surrendering. "I want to see what he left behind," Samantha said. They sifted through binders and the polite debris of power. At the back of a bottom drawer, behind a false panel Aaron found by accident when his knuckle scraped the wood, a small device lay taped to the back. It looked innocuous enough to be nothing. Samantha pried it up and held it to the light. "What is it?" Samantha said. "A drive," Aaron said. She plugged it into a laptop the legal team had abandoned for coffee. The screen filled with a single file name that was not a name at all. It was a string of numbers and letters that looked like a dare. "Encrypted," Samantha said. "Of course it is," Aaron said. She stared at the screen, the reflection of its light in her eyes. "How deep does it go?" Samantha said. "Deep enough we will need boots," Aaron said. Outside, morning finally broke gray and unsure. The city stirred, a little less certain it knew its protectors and a little more willing to audit them. The fight for truth had not ended. It had only shed skin. Samantha closed the laptop with a resolve that made Aaron believe in the next step. "We're not done," Samantha said. "Not even close," Aaron said. They stood in a room that was no longer a throne and held a device that refused to unlock. Somewhere beyond those walls, a network was already adjusting. The story would go on. The truth lay not just in the silenced pages, but in the coded ones. And the city, finally listening, awaited what would come next.